Hey guys, Ramblin Bob here. Okay, so I have a question for you this time. It concerns the Pecron E1500LFP, the E2000LFP, and the E600LFP, all by Pecron, okay? This is a test I'm going to use, and I'm going to use 3 power stations from the same company to make sure that the test is fair. Okay, so it's regarding this new one. So I'm going to turn on the 1500, I'm going to turn on the 2000, and I'm going to turn on the 600, okay? Now they're all zeroed out, right? 0 watts output, the inverter's on, 0, the inverter's on 0. We don't need the DC for this test. So I have a string here that's connected to a light above my workbench there. And when I plug it in up here, you'll see that, if you want to turn it down, babe.
Yep.
The 5.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to use it on low, and we're going to do a fair test. Okay, so it's setting on low, and hopefully you guys can see this. If you can't, I'll read it to you. It says 5 watts, okay? 5 watts, and we'll let it go for a second. That way there's really no bounce. Lights are pretty steady, you know. So you got 5 watts coming out, and now, dear, if you want to put it to the high setting,
yep.
This is like a backup light that I have above my workbench that I can use very light power when I need to. So now notice that this will go up to approximately 9 or 10. It's actually like about 9.6 or 7, something like that, but that's irrelevant. So it'll register obviously on the higher end, which is 10. And then if you take one of these bad boys and put it in here, okay, we'll go back to low, dear.
Okay.
All right, hopefully you guys can see that. I have to aim it up just a little bit more. Let's hope that comes up on the film, okay? And then I'll plug that in. And like I said, if you can't read it, hopefully you can. I'll tell you what it says. So on low, it shows 5.1 watts, okay? And then if you want to put it to high, and then high is about 9.7 or 9.6. Sometimes it fluctuates, but it's pretty steady this time. So 9.7, which would be 10 on this machine if it doesn't understand, obviously, the 1/10 of a watt. So that's fine. Now we have our base numbers for our test. Okay, so if you want to go back to low, dear. So that's the E600LFP. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the E2000LFP. Okay. And you can kind of see the watts in there, I hope. You just can't see the W maybe. Hopefully on this angle you can. So, actually we're going to try this way first. So it's on low, right?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to plug it in, and you're going to see the low power on the display as far as what it's reading for its power meter, the output, okay? Let's close all the other ports. 100% fair test here. Notice it comes out at 5 watts, right? This one's still on 0, so we'll get to that one. So 5 watts. And dear, if you want to put it up to high.
Yep.
Okay, Mrs. Ramblin Bob's a trooper. She's helped me with this test because it's just something I noticed, guys. Now notice that this one says about 9, and it might even say 10. So notice there's a little fluctuation between the meters. That's okay because it's not much, and it's very minute. So that's okay. Between 9 and 10, that's not a big deal. But it just to be noted. Okay, so now we're going to go back to low, unplug this, and we're going to plug in the kilowatt meter. And once again, you'll understand why it's between 9 and 10 is because some are more sensitive than others as far as a power meter rating. So notice it's 5.0 right on the button. Same light, right? It's the same string. Okay, now we're gonna, and it says 5 back here. Now pump it up to high. And then if I can reach back there and turn that light on here. Oh boy, my fingers. Okay, there we go. Just so you can see that number. Now notice that this comes out at 9.6, and it's registering it now at 10. Back here, and sometimes it was, remember, it was like 9 last time. So depending on what you hook in, of course, you got the power factor, but the wattage should always be usually the same. So notice it's going to bounce a little bit because the actual is 9.6 if this one is 100% correct. Okay, so back to low now. So now we've tested both systems. Let me plug these back in because that's all we need that for the other room real quick here, the other part of the room. Okay, so now this is where my question comes in, and maybe you guys can help me. Maybe this is a firmware update that's needed, or I don't know. But okay, so 100% fresh system. We're going to plug in that cord again. It's on low, dear?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to plug that in. Now, I'm going to wait a long time because I want to show you this. Maybe it's just not as sensitive or needs a recalibration in the firmware. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I just always write down and log what I find and what I see, because that's how you learn, is by taking notes. So, and then hopefully I can help other people either learn, or you guys can help me learn. I mean, this is a team here. This is what this channel is about. Now, notice that light is on. You saw the light. If you want to turn it off and back on just to verify that the light. So, okay, back on. So that's my workbench. It's connected to the wall, so I can't move it over here. Otherwise, I would do that. I will test another item that's free roaming, so it'd be better. But notice, guys, now we're pulling out 5 watts, right? And we verified this has 5 watts by 2 different power stations and 2 different power meters. So that way we know that this should be drawing 5 watts. Now notice it's not drawing any watts according to the meter. Now I don't know if that messes up the power meter in the app, right? Oh, you know what? Grab me my phone, dear. You know what? We should do that again. I gotta re-sign up to the. I pulled it off the Wi-Fi to verify that that wasn't affecting it. So we'll test it. Okay. Like I said, I pulled it off the Wi-Fi so I could jar the systems to make sure it was a fair test. I didn't want the Wi-Fi to interrupt with the power outage output, or the Bluetooth, or the, all the little bits and pieces that you get in this one that you don't get in this one. I wanted to make sure it was a fair test. So let me turn on my trusty little phone here. It just takes a minute. It's an older phone, guys. It's an S5. I am running version 1.5 on the app. Guys, are you having any difficulties or troubles with the new app? This app seems to be a lot better for us than the 1.4. I had troubles with it on this phone, and the 1.2 is kind of buggy. So it's definitely getting better. So let me, I got to go to my connections real quick. Give me a second. I got to do this offline here, or off the camera, because passwords and all that stuff, you know how that is, guys. Okay, so that's connecting, and okay, connected. So now we're close all that. Okay, we'll go to the power stations and hit the trusty dusty Pecron here. And this, like I said, it's version 1.5. Okay, now notice there'll be no device. Well, actually there is. So being that I have to initialize it because I turned off the Wi-Fi, so you just delete that, okay? And now you add a device, and then you select nearby. I select nearby devices, and then there's mine. And then let's see here. Okay, there you go. And then that'll load. It'll load pretty quick because it does remember it, but see, okay, so there it found it. And notice that this is solid, and then see added successfully. We won't change the name or anything because, like I said, I'm doing tests with this offline just to make sure that I get the fair test, because this doesn't have the app and online stuff. So now we have our system, and we can check the output of the app to see if it's any different than the output of the machine. Okay, so notice that your output, guys, see that? Output, 0 watts. And now remember, we're drawing 5 watts. That's confirmed. And what I'll do is I'll hot swap this, guys, so you can see that there's no monkey business going on. That's 5 watt draw, and you'll see this has a delayed counter in it, so I like that.
Can they see it?
Yep, they should be able to see it. It says, yep, they can see it.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Now notice it went to 5 watts, so I'll unhook this on the fly and plug it back into here, which means that this system should recognize that 5 watts, right? It should, unless the system, the AC inverter doesn't recognize because it's too low of a voltage, wattage. Maybe it needs about 5 or 10 watts to activate, right? But now that would be a drawback, because if you were to use something like a night light all night long, or a very small laptop or something, and you're drawing only 5 or 10 watts, you would drain the battery, and the power percentage battery up here, the meter, I don't know if that would reflect that. It does check it on the fly, but I haven't done a long test because, guys, 7.5 kilowatts of power, that's a long test, right? Pulling off 5 watts at, holy crap, Zilla, what is that, 7,500? You want to do the math on that? Do about 7,700 divided by 5. So it's 50 per 1,000. That's like 350 hours or something. How many is that?
1,540.
Okay, I wasn't even close, guys. So I can't wait 1,540 hours. So that's crazy.
Why not?
Okay, no, because that would be like, I don't even know. That's above my pay grade.
That's the normal length of a Ramblin Bob.
That's the normal length of a Ramblin Bob video. You are correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so notice the output is at 0. So now and then here we can turn off the inverter, right?
Oh.
And now we'll turn it back on. Oh, guys, that's right. You can't turn it on from here. I forgot about that. You remember that? Yeah, you can't turn a Pecron machine on from the app. You also can't turn on Bluettis from the app, if you remember that.
No, because it turns the Bluetooth off on the
Yep,
Bluetti.
yep.
Yeah.
So it turns the Bluetooth off. So now here we got to resync it, which takes a second here. And then bada bing, bada boom, bada bang. Okay, there it is, 85. So 85, it's all set. And now the output is, remember there's a delay. There's a slow delay on the turn on. So notice the output, guys. It says 0 watts. Input 0, output 0. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Miss Ramblin Bob put it up to 10 watts, and we're going to see in real time. Okay, go ahead. So now we have output. Remember, that comes out at 10 watts. I wish I could put this somewhere, guys. I'll just hold it, I guess. Now notice that, let me put this down here. Notice that it's still not recognizing 10 watts of power. That's weird, right?
Yep.
That's weird because, guys, you know that with the other one here, you know if I plug this from here really quick over to here, it recognizes, hopefully you can see that. It'll recognize at 9, it'll probably say 10 in a second, but 9 to 10 watts, that's what we had to test. That's our base numbers, right? 9 and 10 watts. It's almost 10, but it's in between 9 and 10. See, there's your 10. See it, how it bumped up? So there's your 10 watts, and if you hot swap it back here, notice that the E1500LFP does not recognize a low wattage draw of 10 watts. Now, like I said, I think that could be problematic. Maybe that's something that they could fix in the firmware, guys. Hopefully Pecron will see this video and give us an answer to this. Maybe the inverter, because it's bigger, but you know, the weird thing is that's a 600 watt, that's a 2000 watt, and that's a 2200 watt. These two recognize that 10 watt draw, and this one does not. That's really strange, guys, isn't that? That's really strange. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another thing, which is, oh yeah, we got to try that. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, guys. Okay, so
Just to prove that it's going.
yeah, yep, just to prove. Okay, so we don't need this side of the meter, guys. We need this side, which obviously has the wattage so you can see it. And then we can, yeah, the watt meter. So you want to put that on low?
Low? Yep.
Okay, so she's going to plug that, actually put it to off,
Okay.
and then I'll plug it in, and then you can put it to low. So we have obviously a real time. The 0.2 is a power surge, guys. That's normal. Okay, now we go to low, and then notice that this one, this watt meter, I don't even know what it's called. It's like a kilowatt meter, but it's not. So notice that this one, guys, comes out at 5 watts right on the button, and this one comes out, see, at 0. I think that's problematic. Okay, now we'll do, oh, and the app, guys, notice 0.
We can even go to high.
Now we'll go to high.
Hey! I'm getting the hang of this.
Yep. Okay, so now you're on high. That'll come out at about 10 watts, see? But notice the machine doesn't pick up the low wattage draw. Isn't that strange, guys? That is strange. All right, so, well, you're seeing it in real time, and then on here, it's showing 0 watts. I'll refresh it. We can even look at the battery packs to see if it's drawing anything. 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. So it says it's drawing, but, oh, obviously it has to be drawing because, guys, we're using power, right? But the power meter, I wonder if it needs an update. Okay, so now we're going to do another test, and this test is going to be the same 3 again, except I'm going to use a different device. Sorry that's so dark, but I needed all 3 of these jarred with no lights on so I can do a fair test here. Okay, so we're going to pull this one off, so we'll get them all back to 0. Now this is a DJ light, okay? It's basically, I think, like a 15-watt light when it's all on. But remember, there's like 184 LEDs in there, guys. So each one puts out a certain amount of watts and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this into the original one. Okay, now notice that I have it on setting number, what do I have, 7? Yep, setting number 7. Setting number 7 is, as you see, that's bright as a dog. That's all the lights at one time. So I wish I could set that somewhere and it would stay.
I don't have to do the button anymore, right?
Yeah,
So I can
yeah,
hold
okay, yes. Can you hold that? It's gonna be a problem. So hold it straight up there. Okay, so now Mrs. Ramblin Bob, you can see that the lights are on, and we're coming out at approximately 17 watts. Okay, for this. So we're going to unplug that in real time, and we're going to go in the kilowatt meter, and then hopefully you can see that again. Now the kilowatt meter should be the same, right? 17 watts on the system, and 17, so 18, and so 17, 17, there you go. So the E1500 LFP is very balanced as far as low wattage out. It's bright, isn't it?
Yeah,
okay.
I can't look at it.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the E2000 LFP, right? Okay, and we're going to let that go. Now remember, that comes out at 17.
Can I see it?
17 watts when it's on. So 16, here's 17, right? And then what we'll do is we'll do that one more time like this.
It's a very small light, but it's very bright and very heavy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's all metal. So now notice, guys, that's your power surge when it turns on. Notice I have a couple flickering ones, but that doesn't affect anything because we're looking at the power output. Okay, so there. So you have 17.4 here actual on this power station and 18 or 17 on the, so that's very close, right? So now we're going to do the same test over here on the 1500. So you plug that in here. Okay. And then that'll obviously come out. Now notice, guys, it recognized it, right? But what's different about that?
It's over 10.
Remember, it's supposed to be 17.
Oh, yeah.
This is supposed to be 17 watt light. You guys saw me hot swap it from 2 systems over this way. It's missing 3 watts here. Now that, in a calculator form, would throw off the numbers, right? Because if you had to add 3 to this every hour, obviously it wouldn't throw it off much, but every little bit is a big adjustment. So now what I'll do is I'll put that same 17 watt light bulb in the kilowatt meter. And notice that that's the power surge, so you got to give it a second. Now notice that's coming out at 14, guys, but this is coming out actually at that 17 or 17 plus. See, now it says 15. See, so there's a little bit of difference in between that power meter. It's slowly going up here, 16. But still, that's weird, right? That you get a different, wattage when you plug in through this thing as opposed to straight in. Notice it's almost 18 watts up here, and it's always 16 here. That little bit of a difference, I wonder if you could do a firmware update, and that would maybe recalibrate the numbers. Guys, I'm not a mathematician, I'm not an engineer, but I know that when you program a chip to recognize a certain amount of wattage or voltage or amperage, then obviously it would turn on or recognize that. If able, I don't even know. But I just wanted to make this video real quick, and this is actually one of the shortest ones I made in a while, because I want Pecron to see this and let us know, guys, is this difference from this one to this one, is that a problem for the system as far as the values in the, oh, we didn't check this. We'll put it back real quick. So notice that's the same, guys, right? Hit the button. So, see?
Oh, careful.
It says 18 here. Here, if you aim it at this thing, you can see it better. Just aim it like that, and then people know it's on. There you go. Okay, so 17.8 and 18, right? And then when you go back to this one again, we're going to go and check on the app now, guys, remember? Okay, so the output, notice the output now, it says 14 up here, it says 15 here, it says 15 here, but it says almost 18 here. So that's strange, guys. Any guys that are a sparky or electrician, if you guys can answer this question for me, I'm the student this time, and I love to learn as well, because I think that would affect your camping if you had...
If you're trying to calculate, oh, I have this much time.
Yes,
and then it turns out it's a little bit more, then you won't have enough time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I maybe, is it possible, guys, this is just a theory, like I said, I'm not a professional at this, I'm just a guy who loves this technology, and I'm learning on a daily basis. Is it possible that the power factor is coming out differently on these 3 machines? That's a question for an engineer or an electrician. I don't know that answer, but guys, if you have an answer to this, I'd love to hear your opinions, your thoughts. Please leave a comment down there. I want to know why that when I plug in a very standard 10 watt output, it seems to be 10 is usually the cutoff of when it doesn't recognize it, guys. So I'd like to know, and Pecron, hopefully if you can help me, why does it not recognize a draw of 10? It's on high, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so see that? And then here, click it down to low. You'll see that. Okay, there you go. And then click it back to high. Notice that meter, guys. It doesn't change. I noticed this, guys, because I have a very, very low draw on this today to test it for low draw power drain, parasitic drain, and things like that. And then I'll turn off the Wi-Fi, so that'll reset the Wi-Fi. Yeah, all right, guys. I guess I'll end it there. I have nothing else to add to this video, other than it's very strange that it doesn't recognize a low draw up to 10 watts. Pecron, is there a firmware update you could do for this? Maybe that'll be our first official firmware. If that's even possible, I don't know. Just a question and a theory. All right, guys, ramble on, be safe, and I'll definitely see you again here on Ramblin Bob Reviews with more craziness. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.